Hello, my name is Buddy Harris. I'm the President and Chief Executive Officer of Integrity Management Systems Incorporated. We are a Myrtle Beach-based licensed property manager and property manager in charge. And the purpose of this video and the audience for this video would be prospective boards of directors for homeowners associations for both Carolinas, South Carolina and North Carolina. A brief introduction to Integrity. Again, we're a licensed property management company and property manager in charge. My spouse, Melissa, our CFO, is a licensed property manager in charge. And it's funny, to manage homeowners associations, you do not have to have any licenses, which is very unusual in our opinion. But those licenses for companies who have them are reportable to the appropriate real estate commission. In our case, the South Carolina Real Estate Commission. Although again, that is not needed to manage homeowners associations. We do business in the following areas: Horry County, Georgetown County, Brunswick County, New Hanover County, and Carteret County. And that encompasses a large portion, pretty much the entire coastal portion of both North and South Carolina, where we manage homeowners associations. A few accolades: we have recently been voted Best Property Management Company in Myrtle Beach. And we are also very proud to state that we are both page 1 and position 1 on Google for our corporate location in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Just want to mention very briefly that for any business to be page 1, position 1 on Google, there can only be one business from that entity, from that business market to achieve that lofty goal. There can only be one. So we are very proud of the fact that after many years of hard work and a lot of effort, we are the top dog as far as Google ratings and Google reviews goes. And Google drives a lot of our business, especially with our rental owners and our prospective boards that contact us to manage their homeowners associations. So that is a really big deal to us. That is no small achievement. Many businesses wish they could attain that level. And that is something we work tirelessly to maintain, and to maintain that number 1 position. We hold just over 1,300 5-star reviews across a number of Carolina's Google pages, as well as our property pages. So again, we're one of the big players in the area, and 5-star reviews are so very vital to us, and we work diligently to continue to build the number that we have there. All right, let's get into association management. I want to begin with the role of the association management company. What does that mean? What does that look like? A lot of board members who might be watching this video can be new to association management, new to being a board member on their board. We deal with a lot of new board members. And let me also say that in my role, I'm a consultant. I do not work in sales. With our online ratings, we don't need to sell. Our brand, our reviews, and our online presence sells us. So it does not behoove me to attempt to sell anybody. My goal as a consultant is to simply provide information and the truth with everyone I speak with. The one thing that I share with just about everybody I speak with is this: I'm the person who may not always tell you what you want to hear. Whether you're a board member, whether you're a rental owner, whether you're an association homeowner, whether you own a multi-family complex, I'm just not the guy who's always going to tell you what you want to hear. What I am going to always tell you is the absolute truth. You know when you speak with me that you're getting the truth relative to the asset that we're speaking about and relative to the market. As an example, as of August 2025, the sales market for properties is extremely soft. There is simply too much inventory, and it is an extreme buyer's market. And if you speak with me and you're looking to purchase, I'm going to warn you as to what is a good purchase in this market and what is not. If you're a board member, you know that in speaking with me that as your partner or as your prospective partner, I'm going to give you only the truth. That begins and ends with following your CC&Rs for your community. The governing documents, the CC&Rs for the homeowners association, the governing documents, that is your Bible. That is a living, breathing document regardless of the age of that document, and the proper, safe, and legally protecting management and board oversight of any association begins with those governing documents. And so I refer to those a lot in assisting boards with questions and so forth. So not to go too far down that rabbit hole, I want to go back to the role of the association manager. We're your partner. I'm in the partnership building business. I don't work in sales. Again, as I said, I build partnerships, business relationships. I don't like the word client. I like the term business partner or partner, because that's what our relationship is with our boards of directors and our association homeowners. I liken our relationship with the board to a corporation, because make no mistake, a homeowners association is a business. It must be treated like such. It takes money to make money with any business. As such, a homeowners association is going to require the expenditure of money. So as the partner for the board in the association, I look at it like a corporation. You have a majority shareholder, which is the board of directors. The board has the ultimate and final decision-making ability, and as your junior partner, Integrity Management Systems is a minority shareholder. We have no decision-making authority, and we defer 100% to the board, and I will speak more about that as this video goes on. We are the gatherer of data, documents, and the provider of information and expertise. I've been in this industry for 25 years and have learned quite a bit over those years. So as such, myself and our organization are the subject matter experts of the association management world. We're not attorneys, we're not CPAs, but we have the expertise in the association management area, which allows us to be a very valuable asset to our board in simply providing recommendations, data, information, documents, agreements with contractors, and on down the line. And in my role as the CEO in all of the boards that we work with, all the associations we work with, I function in every area, from a social worker to a nurse to a family counselor, you name it. I wear a lot of hats, and we wear a lot of hats in our roles and our interactions with our board members and our association homeowners. One thing I want to caution, if you're a prospective board member and you're watching this video, and in most cases you would be, I want to caution you about, once you say I do with that management company, many want to be the antithesis of what I just described. A lot of them become bullies, and the word bully is not my word. That's the word that I have heard over many years from board members who are contacting us looking for an association management company to replace the one they have. It generally always begins the same way. You get the nice song and dance, you get the promises, you get the guarantees, and then once you have the ink on the management agreement, then things change. and the horror stories that I've heard and the things I've seen over the years with the threats that management companies make to the board members, threats of lawsuits, threats of fining, there's no place for that in this industry. And you will learn about, especially me, I am a very vocal opponent of that type of management. There's no place for that type of management. And it gives all of us, and the very few ones of us that are really ethical and good at what we do, it gives us all a bad name in the eyes of the folks who don't know any better. So if you receive a proposal from us, you will see in that proposal paragraphs that talk about staying in our lane. We have a very clearly defined lane as your management partner, and we stay in that lane. We don't overstep. We don't veer off to the left. We don't veer off to the right. We stay in our lane. And at the end of the day, the overriding principle is that we defer to the board of directors. We have no decision-making authority. We have no police power. We don't have the authority to remove a late fee from a homeowner's payment. That's up to the board. We don't have the ability to choose the contractor that you use to resurface your parking lot or your pool company or your pest control company. We have zero decision-making authority there, and it needs to stay that way. That is us being the minority partner of the business. So be very careful as you do your research and you vet the management companies. I will always direct you first to Google reviews. I've already talked a lot about Google reviews, so you already understand how I feel about Google reviews, but folks, they do not lie. You can tell the ones that are fake, and you can also tell in the responses the ones that are fake. Legitimate Google reviews, you can spot them a mile away, and it amazes me how, in the Myrtle Beach market especially, how so many of these management companies that have Google ratings in the low 3s and 2s, and they still sign business. And that just tells me that the board of directors is not doing their homework, or that someone from the management company and someone from the board know one another, and that's how they're gaining that new business. But make sure as you're researching, make sure you read Google reviews and also read the responses on those reviews. Okay, I'm going to switch gears and talk about the cornerstones of integrity management systems. There are a number of those, and in no certain order, beginning with communications. We pride ourselves on being the absolute best in fielding, initiating, and responding to communications, whether it's board members or association homeowners. We are the very best in communicating. We actually answer our telephones. We actually respond to emails, and you're not going to wait 3 or 4 days like I hear from so many new board members about other management companies. You're not going to have those waits with us. It would be a rare, very rare situation, and generally a day off with an employee, when you did not receive a call back or an email back the same day from one of our team members. Next, transparency. And obviously, this is probably more important than communications. It obviously is. But transparency, just as I am being completely transparent in this video, in allowing you to look in a window at who we are, who I am as the leader of our organization, everything you're going to get from us is dripping with 100% complete transparency. We'd have it no other way. And in relation to that, because that's what we are providing, that is also what we demand. We demand transparency from our board members, and that's a two-way street. So that is vital. And again, when you begin researching us, whether it's speaking with references or whether it's Google reviews, you will see the word transparency, transparent, and any form of that word mentioned in many, many of our reviews that we hold. Loyalty. I'm a big loyalty guy. I'm an ex-law enforcement officer in a previous life. and that is a profession that demands loyalty. So I am hugely loyal. Our staff is hugely loyal. We are loyal to our boards of directors, and in return, we ask they be loyal to us. We are not going to sell the board down the river with association homeowners. We're not going to talk badly about board members or a board to homeowners. We're going to have that board's back. Again, we're your junior partner. And our allegiance 100% is to that board. And again, we ask that loyalty in return. Next, professionalism. I always tell people in the initial calls, the consultation calls, and the early on meetings that I have with the board president or the board members, that we will never act unprofessionally. Myself on down to our last team member, you will never receive anything but professionalism from us. And because life is reciprocal, and in return, we ask for professionalism from that board. In communications, whether that's verbal, written, what have you. We believe in a professional environment. And if you have that professionalism, and you can have even sometimes difficult conversations, but you can do them professionally, then HOA management is very simple. And if the world operated that way, it would be a much better place to live in. So professionalism is huge with us. I'm going to talk briefly about the few mandatory pieces that Integrity Management Systems has before we will sign any board of directors. And they are as follows. I must have at least an initial call with preferably the board president. Many times, other board members or even an at-large member are nominated to contact the management companies, go through the process, and decide who they want to sign as their partner. But it is mandatory at some point before we sign our management agreements that I have at least met with one board member, and preferably that I've had a virtual meeting, which can be a combination of in-house or a virtual meeting on camera with the entire board. I'm the guy who places the bullseye on his forehead for the board to sit back and ask all the questions that they have to ask. So although that virtual meeting is not mandatory, in 99 out of every 100 cases, I have met at some point, at least virtually, with the entire board before we sign that management agreement. That is vitally important. And it is it's a vetting process. The board is vetting us. I'm also vetting that board and that association to make my determination if that's a good fit. But we're also getting to know each other. We're understanding philosophically how the Homeowners Association works, and you're understanding philosophically how IMS manages your Homeowners Association. The next piece, and this of course, this is mandatory. Any new association, we must open new bank accounts here locally with Coastal Carolina National Bank. Let me say that I personally feel this is the best policy we have as an organization relative to HOAs. We're the only management company that I know of anywhere that requires this. Lori, who is one of the vice presidents with Coastal Carolina National Bank, she runs the Garden City, South Carolina office, told Melissa at one point that their bank, their branch, manages the money of hundreds of associations locally, and that we're the only management company that requires bank accounts, not only the bank accounts created, but also in addition to that, we require that at least one board member be an authorized viewer of all the bank accounts. Now, what does that mean? The board also has the ability to designate one or more board members as authorized signers. That means that the board member could walk into any Coastal Carolina National Bank branch and they could actually pull money out of the accounts, which no one wants that to happen. So what most of the boards decide on is they have one or more board members who are authorized viewers on the account. That means they can walk into a branch and sit down with a banking representative and actually look at the bank accounts in real time for the homeowners associations, whether that's operating account, whether that's reserve, whether it's a CD, whether it's some type of investment. But it's mandatory that at least one board member have that ability. So in that sense, you would have one or more board members, and on our side, only Melissa, our CFO, who would be authorized viewers and or signers on the bank accounts there. That is an immediate system of checks and balances on the association side that, well, it doesn't eliminate, but it should help preclude homeowners from making accusations about financial mismanagement against the board, because you have the management company as a partner on the bank accounts. And it should also decrease accusations toward the management company of misappropriation of funds, because you also have a board member who can walk into a bank at any time. Don't lose sight of the fact that with our property management software, which I'm going to talk about next, all board members have, with their homeowners portal, the ability in real time to review financial reports, and each month as the bank statements are uploaded, they can review those. But folks, here's the thing. I guarantee you, none of you who are prospective board members who are watching this video, if you're a current board member, you do not have access to any of the bank accounts with your homeowners association. And there's a reason for that. And there's also a reason why these association management companies do not allow that. I'll let you figure out the reasons for that. But again, in my opinion, this is the best policy we have relative to homeowners associations. It creates immediate checks and balances, because in my world, and there's not a close second, the protection of the association funds is my number one priority. If we can't do anything else well, we're going to protect the assets of the homeowners who are paying their association dues and their special assessments to that management company. There's no close second of importance as to the management of the funds there. The last mandatory piece is that integrity management systems must be listed as an additional insured on the association's directors and officers policy, commonly called your D&O policy. We have to be listed as an additional insured to offer our organization protection in case there is a lawsuit against the board of directors and or the homeowners associations. And if you work on a board and you've been on a board for any time, you know that with HOAs, we live in a very sue-happy world, and litigation is very common among HOAs. Next, I'm going to briefly talk about our property management software. We utilize Buildium. You might have heard of Buildium. If you haven't heard of Buildium, you've probably heard of AppFolio. They are the two largest in the world. We prefer Buildium. We've been with them for several years, very pleased with them. Buildium offers a robust association management software. Every board member and every homeowner has their own portal. You can log into that through a mobile device or any computer. Computers and laptops are preferable because of the size, and it's just a lot of data for a cell phone to try to look at. Everyone has a portal. You can make payments through it. You can pull up your account. You can view your balances. I want to talk more about the board members, because the board members with their portal, they have access to all of the financial documents as well as the reports. And I think Buildium has as extensive and robust of a financial and report system of any property management software. So board members in real time can pull any of that up 24/7. That can include uploaded and paid invoices, the community calendar, all of the many financial reports that Buildium offers, from balance sheets to budget versus actuals, property owners who are in arrears with making payments and so forth. So it is a really great system. And with the Buildium property management software, and I'm going to get into this next with the onboarding piece, we have a systematic step-by-step process that goes out to all homeowners when the board has made a decision they're going to partner with IMS and we send out a detailed, comprehensive, step-by-step process where all the homeowners know we're going to follow this step to this step to this step to get them logged into their building system, get them where they can make electronic payments if they want to, and just find their portal where they can ask questions and so forth. One other piece about the building software that I really like is it offers a number of communications pieces. It has email. It also has instant message, which is really cool. Our staff up front constantly sends messages back and forth, instant messages back and forth with association homeowners and board members. So that's a really cool feature of Buildium. We have for board members, and this is usually a request of either the president or the treasurer, we can have you in our office and pull you up and show you a redacted Buildium screen, show you what a board member is actually going to see in real time with a redacted profile there if you want to do that during the onboarding process. So in closing with that piece, one of the big fears that we hear about, especially with board members in leaving one company and going to another, is the onboarding process. All they've heard is horror stories about this change and that change. The truth of the matter is, as long as we have the data we need, which is generally the demographic information for the property owners, vendor list, that's the main two pieces. As long as we know who to pay and how to reach out to all the homeowners while we're obtaining the financial information from the outgoing property management company, that's all we need to get the association onboarded. When the final month with the old property management company is closed out, we'll receive end-of-month financial data and we can set everyone's balance to the appropriate level that it needs to be. But the bottom line is the onboarding process, whether you have 25 doors or 800 doors, it's all the same. It's the same steps coming and going. So that kind of wraps up the onboarding piece, and it brings this video to a close. If you've made it this long, I really appreciate you taking the time and watching this. HOA management can be very complicated because human beings complicate situations. It does not have to be. At the end of the day, HOA management involves, in no certain order, the management of accounting, administration, and operations, which is property services. We do all three. When you take human intervention out of that, in my opinion, it's the easiest form of management there is, even though the accounting piece can be more complicated than other property management segments. So when you have a board that is working collectively to do the right thing with the best interest of the HOA in mind, and you have a management company like-minded, HOA management is fairly simple. So that will wrap up this video. Again, I hope you found it beneficial. If you're watching it, if you're a prospective board member, please share it with your other board members, and we'd love to speak with you. At the end of the day, again, I am in the partnership building business. The business relationship needs to make sense to all parties involved, whether it's the board, whether it's myself and our organization. But if you're considering making a change, or if you're a new community and you're about to be released from your builder and you don't want to self-manage and you're looking at a management company, feel free to pick up the telephone, call us, ask for me. If I'm not available, I'll call you back the same day. Our local telephone number is 888-810-9184. And we are located in the Galleria Shopping Center on North Kings Highway, right in kind of the heart of the northern Myrtle Beach, southern North Myrtle Beach area. So we're perfectly located in the Myrtle Beach area, whether we're going north, south, or west, to be on our clients' properties very quickly. Again, my name is Buddy Harris. I'm the president and CEO of Integrity Management Systems, and I hope to speak with you soon.